Pause for a second, not because something bad is about to happen, not because you're late, but because something quiet, steady, and deeply personal is already happening inside you. If you clicked this, it wasn't an accident. And no, this is not a warning, not a threat, not fear dressed up as mystery. This is clarity. This is alignment. This is the moment where noise fades, and meaning steps forward. Take a breath. Let your shoulders relax. You don't need to rush through this. This message is not chasing you. It's meeting you. There is a reason you've been feeling a gentle pressure lately, not stress, not panic, but a sense that something wants your attention. Not loudly, not urgently, softly, patiently. Archangel Michael is not here to frighten you. He never was. His presence has always been about strength without aggression, truth without pressure, courage without fear. And today's message begins with one simple truth: you are stronger than the version of yourself you keep doubting. Let that land. So many people misunderstand strength. They think it's about pushing harder, enduring more, proving something to the world. But real strength, the kind Michael represents, is quieter. It's the strength to pause instead of react. The strength to stay kind when you could become bitter. The strength to keep growing when no one is applauding. You've been doing that, even on days you felt invisible, especially on days you felt unseen. And that's why this message is for you. Not because something terrible is coming, but because something meaningful is unfolding. Right now, your life is in a transition that doesn't look dramatic from the outside. There are no flashing signs, no sudden miracles, just small inner shifts that matter more than you realize. You're learning discernment. You're learning boundaries. You're learning when to hold on, and when to gently release. And Michael's energy surrounds moments like these, not to command, but to support. There's something important you need to hear today. You don't need to become someone else to be successful. You don't need to erase your softness to be respected. You don't need to rush to be worthy. Your timing is not late. Your path is not broken. Your growth is not invisible. It's just happening internally before it shows externally. That's how sustainable success begins. Many people are addicted to visible progress, numbers, titles, applause. But the strongest foundations are built in silence. Right now, you are strengthening three things at once: your emotional awareness, your physical discipline, and your sense of purpose. Even if you haven't named them that way, emotionally, you've started noticing patterns. What drains you? What energizes you? Who listens? And who only talks? That awareness is power. Physically, your body has been asking for respect, better rest, better rhythm, not punishment, care. Strength is not harming your body to prove toughness. Strength is listening to it so it can carry you further. And purpose, this one is subtle. Purpose doesn't always arrive as a clear calling. Sometimes it arrives as discomfort with what no longer fits. And that's where you are. You are outgrowing something. A mindset, a role, an expectation that was never fully yours. Archangel Michael's message here is gentle but firm. Do not shrink to stay familiar. Do not abandon your values to feel accepted. Do not doubt your intuition just because it's calm instead of loud. Your intuition isn't silent. It's steady. And steadiness is strength. If you've been waiting for a sign to trust yourself more, this is it. Not because a voice said so, but because your inner alignment recognizes truth when it hears it. Let's talk about confidence for a moment. True confidence is not loud. It doesn't argue. It doesn't compare. It doesn't rush to be seen. It moves with clarity. You're being invited into that kind of confidence now. One where you don't explain yourself to people who don't listen. One where you invest your energy where it multiplies, not where it leaks. One where your success doesn't come at the cost of your peace. This is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear. Clarity is love with boundaries. And that's one of Michael's strongest teachings. You may notice that after today, certain things feel lighter. Not because they disappeared, but because you stopped carrying them alone. You're allowed to ask for support. From people. From guidance. From moments of stillness. Strength doesn't mean isolation. It means knowing when to rest, when to act, and when to trust. There's also something important about your future that needs to be said. calmly, honestly, without exaggeration. Your progress will not look like everyone else's. And that's a gift, not a flaw. Comparison has been the quiet thief of your joy. Not because you're ungrateful, but because you're human. Michael's message here is clear. Stop measuring your life with someone else's ruler. Your lessons are different. Your timeline is different. Your mission is different. And that difference is where your unique success will come from. You are not behind. You are not lacking. You are not missing anything essential. You are integrating. Integration is when knowledge becomes wisdom, when effort becomes ease, when discipline becomes natural. That's what's happening now. You may not feel excited every day. You may not feel motivated every morning. But you are consistent. And consistency is more powerful than motivation ever was. There's a quiet promise being fulfilled in your life right now, that the effort you've put into becoming a better person, emotionally, physically, mentally, will not be wasted. Not one act of self-respect. Not one moment of restraint. Not one choice to do better. It all compounds, even when no one is watching, especially then. Before we move forward, pause again. Notice your breathing. Notice your posture. Notice the way your mind feels calmer than when you started. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. And this is only the beginning. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how this strength translates into real, world success, relationships, work, health, and purpose, without pressure, without fear, without losing yourself in the process. For now, hold this truth gently. You are not being warned. You are being prepared. Prepared to trust yourself. Prepared to move forward with clarity. Prepared to succeed without sacrificing who you are. Stay here. The message continues. Stay with me. Not because you have to, but because something in you already knows this is relevant. There's a quiet shift that happens when a person stops chasing reassurance and starts building inner certainty. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand attention. But it changes everything. This part of the message is about that shift. Not inspiration for one day. Not motivation that fades by morning. But grounded strength. The kind that improves your relationships, your work, your health, and your sense of direction without burning you out. Archangel Michael's energy has always been associated with clarity in action. Not action fueled by pressure. Action guided by alignment. And alignment begins with understanding how your inner world shapes your outer results. Let's talk about emotional strength first, because nothing sustainable is built without it. Emotional strength is not about suppressing feelings. It's not about staying positive all the time. It's about emotional literacy. You've been learning this already, even if you didn't call it that. You've learned that not every emotion needs an immediate response. Some emotions need space. Some need movement. Some just need acknowledgement. This awareness is powerful. People who lack emotional awareness react. People who develop it respond. And response always creates better outcomes. You're becoming someone who pauses before speaking, who observes before deciding, who listens to their body and intuition instead of overriding them. That alone puts you ahead of most people, quietly, but decisively. Now here's something important to understand. Emotional discipline is not emotional denial. It is emotional leadership. You lead your emotions instead of letting them lead you. This is why your relationships are beginning to change. You may notice that some connections feel easier, more natural, more mutual, and others feel strained, not because you changed into someone cold, but because you stopped over-giving. Michael's message here is clear and compassionate. You are not responsible for managing everyone else's emotional comfort. You are responsible for your own integrity. Integrity means your actions match your values. Your words match your intentions. Your boundaries match your energy. This is not selfishness. This is maturity. And maturity attracts the right people. Let's move into physical strength. Because spiritual growth without physical grounding becomes unstable. Your body is not separate from your purpose. It is the vehicle for it. For too long, people have treated the body like something to push, punish, or ignore until it breaks. But strength, real strength, is cooperation with the body. You don't need extreme routines. You don't need obsession. You need consistency. Simple movements done regularly. Proper rest without guilt. Nutrition that supports energy instead of spikes and crashes. Your body responds to respect. And when your body is respected, your mind becomes clearer. Your emotions become steadier. Your decisions become wiser. This is why discipline doesn't feel heavy to you anymore. It feels supportive. Michael's presence here is subtle but steady. Care for your body not to impress the world, but to sustain your mission. Now let's talk about success. Because success without peace is not success at all. You are redefining what success means. Not unconsciously anymore. Consciously. Success is no longer just achievement. It's alignment. It's waking up without dread. It's working with focus instead of anxiety. It's progressing without losing yourself. This doesn't mean you stop being ambitious. It means your ambition becomes intelligent. You're learning when to push and when to pause. When to say yes and when to decline. When to invest energy and when to protect it. And this discernment is priceless. Here's a truth many people discover too late. Burnout is not caused by effort. It is caused by misalignment. When effort matches purpose, energy multiplies. When effort fights your values, energy drains. You are moving toward alignment now. That's why some goals you once chased no longer excite you. And new ones, quieter, deeper, are starting to matter more. This is not confusion. This is refinement. Michael's message continues. Choose progress that strengthens you, not progress that consumes you. Now let's pause again. Notice how this message isn't rushing you, isn't pushing urgency, isn't promising instant transformation. That's intentional. Because real change respects your nervous system, it doesn't shock it. You are not meant to overhaul your life overnight. You are meant to stabilize it step by step. That's how confidence becomes natural instead of forced. Confidence, at its core, is self-trust. And self-trust grows when you keep small promises to yourself. You rest when you say you will. You speak honestly when it matters. You stop abandoning your needs to please others. Each small act compounds. And over time, something powerful happens. You stop seeking validation. Not because you don't care, but because you don't need it to decide your worth. This is freedom. And freedom is one of the highest forms of success. You may also notice something else happening now. Your intuition is clearer. Not louder, clearer. You can sense when something aligns, and when it doesn't, without overthinking. This is because you've reduced internal noise. Less self-betrayal creates more intuition. Michael's guidance here is simple. Trust the calm yes. Respect the quiet no. You don't need dramatic signs. You don't need external permission. Your clarity is enough. As this part of the message comes together, understand this. You are not being shaped into someone new. You are being returned to who you were before pressure distorted you. Strong, thoughtful, capable, grounded. And from this place, success flows naturally. Not instantly, not magically, but sustainably. In the next part, we'll explore how this inner alignment begins to influence opportunities, timing, and the way life seems to respond to you, without force, without chasing, without fear. For now, hold this with you. You are building a life that supports you back. You are growing in a way that lasts. You are becoming strong without becoming hard. Stay present. The message is unfolding exactly as it should. Stay here for a moment longer. Not because something is about to shock you, but because something is about to click. There is a stage in growth that few people talk about. It comes after awareness, after discipline, after the decision to respect yourself. It's the stage where life begins to respond differently to you. Not magically, not overnight, but noticeably. This is where you are now. Archangel Michael's energy in this phase is not about protection from danger. It is about precision. Precision in thought, precision in choice, precision in direction. And precision changes outcomes. You may have noticed recently that opportunities feel different. Not necessarily bigger, but more aligned. Things that once felt forced now feel optional. Things that once felt distant now feel possible. That's not coincidence. That's coherence. When your inner world becomes organized, your outer world mirrors it. Let's talk about momentum. Real momentum is not speed, it's continuity. You don't need dramatic breakthroughs to move forward. You need fewer internal conflicts. Most people lose momentum because they are constantly negotiating with themselves. Should I do this? Am I good enough? What if it doesn't work? You are learning to reduce that noise, not by silencing questions, but by answering them with action. Action that is calm. Action that is intentional. Action that doesn't need validation. This is why your days feel fuller even when they are quieter. Michael's message here is grounded and practical. When your energy is aligned, you stop leaking it into doubt. And energy saved becomes focus. Focus is the currency of success. Now let's talk about timing, because timing has been misunderstood for far too long. People think timing is about luck, being at the right place at the right moment. But timing is more often about readiness. You can't receive what you don't have space for. You can't sustain what you aren't prepared to manage. You've been preparing. Emotionally, by learning self-regulation. Physically, by respecting your limits. Mentally, by choosing clarity over chaos. This preparation is why things will start arriving without strain. Not because you chased them, but because you made room. Michael's guidance is subtle here. Do not rush what is arriving naturally. Do not delay what requires commitment. Discernment again. You don't jump at everything. You don't hesitate at everything. You choose. Deliberately. This is maturity in motion. You may also notice that some people drift away during this phase. Not dramatically. Not with conflict. Just, quietly. This is not loss. This is alignment. When you stop overextending, only balanced connections remain. And balanced connections support growth. Now let's move into a deeper layer, identity. Your identity is no longer built on struggle. And this is important. Many people unknowingly tie their sense of self to hardship. They feel valuable only when they're enduring something. You're releasing that pattern. Your worth no longer comes from how much you can tolerate. It comes from how well you can live. This shift is powerful. Michael's message here is firm but compassionate. You do not need pain to justify your progress. Peace is not laziness. Ease is not weakness. Stability is not stagnation. Stability is the platform for excellence. When your nervous system is calm, your creativity expands. Your problem-solving improves. Your communication becomes clearer. You are operating from a regulated state now. And regulated people make better decisions. Let's talk about work and purpose for a moment. Whether your work is visible or behind the scenes, something important is happening. You're becoming selective with effort. You no longer give your best energy to everything. You give it to what matters. This is not indifference. This is strategy. Michael's energy supports strategic courage, the courage to say, this is worth my time. This is not. I will do this fully. I will release that completely. Clarity saves years of wasted effort. And you are gaining clarity faster than you realize. You might feel less busy, yet more productive. Less scattered, yet more effective. That's alignment in action. Now let's pause again. Notice something subtle. Your breathing is steady. Your thoughts are not racing. Your attention is still here. This is the state where learning integrates. Not excitement. Not pressure. Presence. Presence is where transformation actually happens. And presence is something you are mastering. There's another layer to this message that matters deeply. Self-respect. Self-respect is not confidence. Confidence comes later. Self-respect is behavior. It's what you tolerate, what you reinforce, what you walk away from without explanation. You've been practicing self-respect quietly, not through confrontation, but through consistency. And consistency teaches others how to treat you. Michael's guidance here is steady. Let your actions speak your standards. You don't need to announce boundaries. You live them. This changes dynamics naturally. People either rise to meet your clarity, or remove themselves. Both outcomes are correct. As your self-respect strengthens, something else happens. You stop needing control. Control is often a response to internal instability. When you trust yourself, You don't need to micromanage outcomes. You do your part. Then you allow life to respond. This balance between effort and surrender is where flow exists. Not passive waiting. Not forced striving. Flow. And flow accelerates results. You may soon notice that things begin to align with less effort than before. Not because you're doing less, but because you're doing the right things. Michael's presence here is almost silent, but supportive. Stay steady. Stay honest. Stay consistent. You don't need to dramatize your journey. You don't need to prove anything. Your progress is already visible, to the parts of life that matter. As this part comes to a close, understand this. You are no longer preparing to begin. You have already begun. The foundation is laid. The habits are forming. The clarity is active. What comes next is expansion, not chaos. In the next part, we will explore how this alignment influences confidence in communication, leadership in everyday life, and the quiet authority that comes from living in truth, without force, without ego, without fear. For now, let this settle. You are moving forward with precision. You are aligned with timing. You are becoming successful in a way that feels right, because it is. Stay present. The message continues. Stay with this moment. Not because you're waiting for something extraordinary to appear, but because something ordinary is becoming extraordinary through awareness. This part of the message is about authority, not authority over others, but authority over your own life. Real authority is calm. It doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't rush to convince. It doesn't seek permission. And slowly, steadily, you are stepping into it. Archangel Michael's presence in this phase is not dramatic or symbolic. It's practical, grounded, almost invisible, because true strength no longer needs to announce itself. Let's begin with communication, because communication is where inner alignment becomes visible. You may have noticed something subtle recently. You speak less, but when you do, your words land. You don't explain as much. You don't justify as often. You don't feel the urge to fill silence. That's not withdrawal. That's confidence forming. People who are unsure speak to be accepted. People who are aligned speak to be accurate. You're choosing accuracy. Michael's message here is simple. Say what is true. Say it once. Let it stand. This alone changes how people respond to you. Your voice carries steadiness now. Not dominance. Not force. Steadiness. And steadiness builds trust. In leadership, formal or informal, this matters deeply. Leadership is not about control. It's about coherence. When your words, actions, and values match, people feel safe around you. They listen without being pressured. They follow without being pushed. You may not call yourself a leader, but leadership is emerging through your behavior. You lead by example, by respecting your time, by honoring your limits, by staying composed under pressure. This is quiet influence. Michael's energy supports this kind of leadership because it doesn't exhaust you. It sustains you. Now let's talk about decision making, because this is where many people lose themselves. Decisions used to feel heavy, overloaded with second guessing, fear of making the wrong choice. But now, something has shifted. You don't need certainty. You need clarity. Certainty demands guarantees. Clarity demands honesty. You're choosing honesty. You ask better questions now. Does this align with my values? Does this strengthen me or drain me? Can I sustain this choice long term? These questions simplify decisions. Michael's guidance here is steady. Choose what you can stand behind quietly. Not what looks impressive. Not what pleases everyone. What you can live with peacefully. This approach reduces regret. Because regret often comes not from failure, but from self-betrayal. You're learning not to betray yourself. That alone is life-changing. Now let's move into something deeply important. Self-trust under pressure. Pressure doesn't disappear as you grow. It changes form. Earlier, pressure came from insecurity. Now, it comes from responsibility. Responsibility to your time, your energy, your future. But here's the difference. You no longer panic under pressure. You prioritize. Pressure reveals structure. And your inner structure is stronger now. You don't need to do everything. You need to do what matters. Michael's message here is grounding. Focus is protection. When your focus is clear, distractions lose power. This applies to work, relationships, and even your inner dialogue. You catch yourself before spiraling. You redirect without punishment. You correct course without shame. This is emotional intelligence in action. And emotional intelligence compounds into success. Now pause. Notice how this message isn't lifting you into fantasy. It's grounding you into reality. That's intentional. Because sustainable success is realistic. It respects human limits. It honors rest. It values rhythm over extremes. You are building rhythm now. A rhythm of effort and recovery. A rhythm of engagement and solitude. A rhythm of ambition and peace. This rhythm stabilizes your nervous system. And a stable nervous system unlocks creativity. Ideas come easier. Solutions appear faster. Connections feel more natural. This is why your work quality is improving, even if your workload hasn't changed. You're not scattered anymore. Michael's guidance remains calm. Do fewer things. Do them well. Let excellence speak. Excellence doesn't shout. It resonates. Now let's talk about relationships again, but from a higher level. You no longer chase connection. You allow resonance. Resonance happens when two people meet without masks. You've removed some of yours. Not dramatically, quietly. You're honest about what you can give. You're clear about what you need. You're respectful without overextending. This creates healthier dynamics. Some people may feel closer to you now. Others may feel more distant. Both are signs of truth. Michael's message here is compassionate. Let relationships adjust naturally. Do not force harmony. Forced harmony breeds resentment. Natural harmony creates longevity. Now something important needs to be said about success and visibility. As you align, you may become more visible, without trying. Your work may be noticed. Your presence may be felt. Your opinions may carry weight. Visibility is not the goal, but it can be a byproduct. Here's the key: stay grounded. Visibility without grounding creates ego. Grounding without visibility creates stagnation. You are learning balance. Michael's guidance is steady. Let recognition come. Do not chase it. Chasing recognition weakens authority. Allowing recognition strengthens it. You stay focused on your standards, your process, your integrity, and that's why success becomes stable. Now let's talk about fear, briefly, calmly. Fear hasn't vanished from your life. It has lost control. Fear may still appear, but it doesn't decide. You acknowledge it. You assess it. You move forward. Anyway, with intelligence. Courage is not absence of fear. It's relationship with fear. And your relationship has matured. Michael's message here is reassuring. You can move forward without certainty. Clarity is enough. Clarity tells you the next step, not the whole staircase. And that's all you need. As we near the close of this part, understand something essential. You are not becoming rigid. You are becoming reliable. Reliable to yourself. Reliable in your commitments. Reliable in your values. And reliability builds trust, internally and externally. People trust you because you trust you. This is the kind of strength that lasts. In the next part, we'll explore how this inner authority begins to shape long-term vision, how to think in years instead of days, how to plan without anxiety, and how to build a future that feels spacious instead of overwhelming. For now, let this truth settle gently. You are leading your life with calm authority. You are communicating with clarity. You are succeeding without losing your center. Stay here. The message continues. Stay, not because this is the end, but because this is where everything finally settles into place. There is a quiet moment at the end of every real transformation. No applause. No announcement. Just a deep internal recognition that says, "This is who I am now." That moment is here. Not as a dramatic finish, but as a grounded arrival. Archangel Michael's energy at the conclusion of this message is not about movement anymore. It is about integration. Integration is when growth stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like identity. You are not trying to be centered anymore. You are centered. You are not practicing clarity anymore. You are clear. You are not chasing strength anymore. You are strong. Let that truth land fully. Because this final part is not about adding anything to you. It's about recognizing what has already formed. Let's begin with vision, real vision, not fantasy. A calm future, not a perfect one, not a rushed one, but a sustainable one. You are no longer thinking in urgency. You are thinking in years. You ask different questions now. Will this still make sense next year? Will this choice support the person I'm becoming? Does this align with the life I want to wake up inside of? This shift alone separates growth from survival. Michael's final guidance here is steady and reassuring. Build a future you don't need to escape from. That is success. Success is not intensity. It is coherence over time. Now let's talk about long-term confidence, because this is different from short bursts of motivation. Long-term confidence comes from evidence. And you have evidence. You have evidence that you can regulate yourself, that you can recover from setbacks, that you can choose clarity over chaos. You've watched yourself change, and because of that, you don't need constant reassurance anymore. You trust your ability to adapt. This is one of the most powerful forms of self-belief. Michael's presence here is almost like a nod, quiet approval, not instruction. Because you don't need instruction anymore. You need ownership. Ownership of your pace, your boundaries, your standards, and you've taken that. Let's talk about peace, real peace. Not the absence of effort, but the absence of inner conflict. You are no longer fighting yourself. You don't argue internally about rest. You don't shame yourself for slowing down. You don't punish yourself for being human. You correct gently. You adjust intelligently. This is emotional mastery. And emotional mastery creates physical well-being. Your body feels safer with you now, because you listen. When you rest, you actually rest. When you work, you're present. When you move with intention. This cooperation between mind and body is rare and invaluable. Michael's final message on this is simple. Honor your body as a partner, not a tool. This alone will extend your energy, your focus, and your lifespan of success. Now let's move to contribution, because a fulfilled life always includes it. Contribution doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It means sharing from overflow. You no longer give from depletion. You give from stability. Your presence uplifts without effort. Your clarity helps without preaching. Your calm reassures without explaining. This is quiet impact. People may not know why they feel better around you, but they will. Because regulated energy is contagious. Michael's energy supports this kind of influence because it's clean. No ego. No need to be right. Just grounded truth. Now, a crucial realization. You are not here to convince anyone of your growth. Growth doesn't need witnesses. It needs continuity. And you have that now. Your routines are simpler. Your priorities are clearer. Your distractions hold less power. This is not limitation. This is freedom. Freedom is knowing what deserves your attention, and what doesn't. Michael's closing guidance here is firm and gentle. Protect your attention. It shapes your life. Where attention goes, identity grows. And your attention is finally aligned. Let's pause one last time. Notice how your mind feels compared to when you started this series. Less tight, less rushed, more settled. That's not imagination. That's integration. You've moved from seeking to being, from effort to embodiment. This is where most people never arrive, because they keep chasing the next thing instead of becoming the right container. You became the container. Now let's speak clearly about success, because this matters. Your success will not scream. It will last. It will show up as consistency, as reliability, as quiet progress that compounds. You will look back one day and realize nothing exploded, everything expanded. That's the best kind. Michael's final message is not a command. It's a confirmation. You are aligned. You are capable. You are ready to live from strength instead of tension. There is nothing you need to wait for now. No signal. No permission. No final sign. This was it. Not as an ending, but as a turning point. From here, you move forward calmly, decisively, with trust in yourself. And when challenges come, as they always do, you will meet them without losing your center, because you have one now. Let this be the last thing you hold from this message. You don't need to become more. You need to continue being this. Grounded, clear, steady, whole. This is not a moment. This is a foundation. And from here, your life unfolds, not in fear, not in force, but in quiet, lasting success. Stay steady. You've already arrived.